Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Salt of the Earth. We are here to do one thing, which is to cut the legs off plague zombies. September's almost over. We're about to get a brand new bounty pack, and I want to finish the bounty pack that we're on. So we're going to cut the legs off some plague zombies. We're going to have a good time doing it. The reason I have grabbed Sydney here is because she is a swordplay expert, which means she can hack things off other things. And she's carrying the magic wand, which is the weapon that you get when you get the wizard van. But now I'm actually... Wait a minute. What kind of weapon is that? Is that a... It is bladed. Okay, I was about to say, how sharp? How sharp is the actual blade on this thing? I guess pretty sharp. That seems to be what we're saying here. So let's fix up our wizard van. And let's go cut zombie legs off with a magic wand. Let's head over here to... I think there's actually still a lot of plague hearts out on this map, but that's the one that's already scouted. So we're just going to head that way. Steve0143 wants to know if I have seen the trailer for the Last of Us TV show. I have. Actually, it actually looks really cool. As I don't remember who was working on it, but I remember it being, like, when I did know, I remember thinking, oh yeah, those are people who could make a good TV show. So I certainly, I mean, I love the cast. They've played some of my favorite characters in, genre media. And the thing that's actually weird, one thing I tweeted about this earlier, which is I love the cast that they've brought together for this show. I'm really excited to see what they can do with the characters. At the same time, though, one thing that weirded me out was it was hard for me to look at their faces and think that they were Joel and Ellie. And I think it's not because of any failure in the casting or anything like that. The casting's great. They chose really good actors to pull off these parts. But I've just gotten so used to the CG faces of these characters because they've made them look so compelling and so human that I really connect with those imaginary people as though they were real people. And it's actually difficult for me to imagine like a real human being that character for me, which is fine. They don't have to. You know, the game character will remain the game character forever. They don't have to have the TV show character be the same. You know, it's like I like the idea of when you adapt something to a new medium, letting the new medium, new version of it in the new medium be its own thing. It doesn't hurt the original game for the new TV show to be different in some ways. So I'm not like mad about it or think it's bad or anything like that. I'm actually really excited to see what these folks can do. But at the same time, it was just weird for me to realize how connected I actually am to these completely imaginary animated characters. I'm attached to them like they're real people. And so it was weird to realize watching the trailer that I'm like, oh yeah, this looks like a really cool TV show, but it doesn't feel like it's these exact people. Anyway, so that's just me being weird. But I am a massive fan of The Last of Us. So of course I'm gonna have an emotional connection to it that's probably a little bit over the top. One thing that'll be interesting to see is, obviously I'm imagining that the first season is probably not even going to get through the entire story of the first game. Just judging by the duration of these kinds of stories, how long it takes to tell them, I'm betting they're not even going to get all the way through The Last of Us Part 1. But I'm interested in seeing, like, if they do get to the end of The Last of Us Part 1, maybe in Season 2 or Season 3 of the TV show, are they going to move on to The Last of Us Part 2? Are they going to do a time skip? Are they going to recast Ellie? And, kind of the way they did with, say, Hot D. What's it called? House of the Dragon. I love calling it Hot D. In Hot D, they have, what's her name? Rhaenyra? There's a Rhaenys and a Rhaenyra. I think it's Rhaenyra. They recast Rhaenyra halfway through the season because there's a time jump. And the original actress, I think she's in her 20s, but they cast her because she looked like a teenager. And so they're like, they don't want her to look like a teenager when she's an adult, which is understandable. That what's her name? Millie Alcock, I think is her name. She's really good though. I really like her in that part. I haven't watched the latest episode, so I don't actually know anything about the performance of the second actress. But Millie Alcock's great. I'm like, there's no way they could have like put, I don't know, different makeup on her, make her look older or something like that. I don't know, maybe not. And if the other actress is really good, then I don't want to, deny her the opportunity to take on the character or anything. But But yeah, it was felt like an odd decision, but you know, it's a precedent that's been set now, and so it'll be interesting to see. And actually, I'm also interested in seeing if at some point Rings of Power will recast some of its younger characters of shorter-lived species. Like, are we gonna what's her name, Nori, the Harfoot? Is she gonna end up being recast with an older actress as time passes in future seasons, and we get into like deeper into the Second Age? Like as the elves don't need to be recast, the dwarves don't need to be recast because they have really long lives, but Harfoot lives, I imagine, are not that much longer than human lives. So are they going to recast them too? Anyway, so it just makes me wonder, like, are they going to recast Ellie at some point so they can jump right on to The Last of Us Part 2? Or will they just continue on and keep telling stories with young Ellie? It's interesting. Like, I've got a similar question about The Expanse. You know, they did an official, you know, series finale of The Expanse. Well, gosh, okay. Shut up. But they actually only got, you know, 2/3 of the way through the books. But it was a good time to sort of, if they didn't think they were going to be able to get through, you know, 9 seasons, then ending at season 6 is great because there actually is a time jump between book 6 and book 7 in The Expanse, and all the characters get like 20 years older. Which, you know, I don't think you necessarily, you know, you could probably justify a shorter time jump than that. For the TV show. The reason they did the time jump was because they needed the Laconians to make more progress. You know, the breakaway human group that went and settled one of the planets beyond the gate, and eventually they're going to come back and cause problems for the rest of humanity. They needed time for them to become a proper civilization, for them to actually, like, build up their strength, create some, you know, fancy ships from alien technology. There's a bunch of stuff they needed to do that legitimately could not take less than, you know, given the realism level of the book. Yay, I got my bounty. Given the realism level in those books, you couldn't really justify taking less than 20 years on that. And so they just did the time jump, let Laconia, you know, sort of catch up. And then, you know, and then sort of came back to the series after they had advanced a little bit. Oh gosh, what the? No. Okay, we're getting out of here. We need some time and space. Dang it! Oh, do not get this character killed. Do not get this character killed. Nope. Oh, no, I did not mean to get off that thing. Well, whatever. Can I jump up on this? Yes, I can. Okay, cool. Okay, where did he go? Is he alive? Yes. Okay, I'm having trouble. Did I get him? I think I got him. I think I got him. This is a lot of other dudes, though. It's fewer now. I wonder if I can... Let's see if I can actually make some more progress on this Plague Heart, now that we've taken care of the obligatory feral. Okay, this gun is not that great at doing this. Oh, wait, that just bounced. I don't know where. Oh, it didn't bounce. It just didn't go anywhere. Weird. Okay, well, let's throw it in there. Okay, it's down 2 levels now, but we've got so many zombies around now. I don't know. I don't know if we're doing this. I don't know if we're doing this. We've done some damage, that's great, but you gotta know when to cut and run in this game. And when to cut and run is now. Even though this is not even the Nightmare Zone. I think this is Dread... Would you get off? I think this is Dread Combat and green everything else. Actually, you know what? I've got a van, and it's not Nightmare, which means the van won't just instantly explode. Oh, and I've just... Oh, come on. There we go. Maybe we can either... Oh, wait, there's a bloater over there. Dang it. As I say, maybe we can just kill all these zombies with this car. It's weird seeing a non-plague bloater. Take that. Haha! Zombies' old enemy, doors. There we go. Okay, yes. We just need to tempt that crowd away. Whew, okay. We did it. Wait, what is that? No! Stop that garbage. Get off me. Okay, anyway.
Let's make this mag count, kiddos.
There's so many plague samples everywhere. Oh my gosh. Eat one, zombie. All right. Can I even pick up all these samples? This is ridiculous. Whew, all right. Hey, La Coalición is back. Welcome, and I totally missed a ton of comments. Let's see here. Okay, so Cloudcraft says, given that I couldn't handle the sensory overload of the violence in the second game, I suspect I won't be able to handle the show either if they have even a slightly similar direction in style. Yeah, the violence did get a little bit over the top. Like one of the things that was really common in The Last of Us, even The Last of Us 1, was to have your death moments be really, really extreme and then cut away really fast. It was an interesting, effective technique because it meant you didn't actually have to pay off on like the full horrific violence. You didn't have to actually show all of the guts trailing out of the character, and they were able to sort of, I think, cut a few corners here and there. But basically, they would show a character starting to get their flesh ripped apart by the zombie, and then they would just cut to black, real fast. And it's like, we're not making you look at the whole thing, but oh man, you know how bad this was. And given how realistically drawn these characters are, both in their art, which makes them look like real people almost, and just in the way they're written, so you really buy them as human beings. Like I can watch, just random video game characters get dismembered. Characters in State of Decay 2, we never really make you believe in them to the degree that it would take to really feel horrified at watching them get mangled. So we let you see them get mangled all the time, and it's, not as bad. But in The Last of Us, when I'm really connected to this character, and then I see, like, a chunk get ripped out of their neck and like, sinews still connecting the zombies, teeth to their, bones, I'm just like, ugh. And it's gross, but it's not just gross like seeing something, I don't know, like looking at, rotten food is gross. It's gross like I'm genuinely disturbed by it. And so, which is, I think coming in the brief small doses that I get it in The Last of Us, like it's not beyond sort of my ability to stomach it. It's just, but it rides the line. It dips its toe in, going just barely across that line, but then stops before it drives me away from the game. And so for me, at like my mental settings, it's perfect. It's doing exactly what it wants to do. But I could totally imagine somebody with slightly different mental sort of presets from me just not being able to play the game because of those moments of extreme violence, which is totally legit. Sarah Zero wants to know if all the blood drive shirts have gone out yet. I don't know for certain. I know that people have been receiving them. I just today saw a tweet from somebody who just got theirs in the mail. So I think they were sent out recently. I think we've sent them all out. I can't promise that we have, but I do know that people have still been receiving them very recently. So yours might still be in the mail. So Cloudcraft says that it's actually like it's not just the disgustingness of the death itself and just the sort of compellingness of the character and caring about it that makes a difference for him. It's also the just the sensory overload. Like, I imagine when you say sensory overload, do you mean just like the way that the I think the camera might like flash in and out a little bit, and the music hits a crescendo, and there's a lot of sound effects brought into it. Is it that aspect of it? The fact that they're just basically bringing to bear all of the sensory effects that they possibly can to try to make that moment hit you as hard as possible. That's sort of like it's just hitting you on all channels. I would say, by the way, Goonbuggy, if you, for whatever reason, do not receive a shirt, and you did expect to get one from your participation in the charity drive, definitely contact us about it. Either send a message to our Twitter account, or I think you might even be able to send a message to our support site, support.stateofdecay.com. I mean, I don't know if that's really the right way to do it, but I'm sure that if you send your message, Rohan will know who to put you in contact with. So definitely do something, because we do want you to get that. We don't want you to be left out in the cold. Oh, good. Airy Twitch did get theirs. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. All right. So, let's see here. Okay, so other people have said that they've just gotten their shirt very recently too. So your shirt might very well just still be in the mail. Hard to be sure. Oh, so Cloudcraft says that also part of it is just the fact that they've made the decisions in the sound effects and in the music. They've decided to make them very dissonant, which also makes it extra irritating for somebody who experiences sensory overload that way. So I don't experience really I can experience like stress overload type things. I don't get it from sensory input very easily the same way that a lot of folks do, especially folks who are on the spectrum do, which is how what Cloudcraft is explaining it as. And so it's one of those interesting things where when you are implementing something in a game and you are neurotypical, fully able-bodied, it's very easy to just not even realize that something you're doing to have an impact on a player like you is actually going to make your game unplayable for somebody who experiences the world differently than you do. And that's so it's one of the reasons why like we try to regularly do check-ins with people from a variety of different backgrounds who have different perspectives on the experience of a game, so that we can find out so people can sort of play our game, react to it, and call out places where we might not have realized that we were actually making the game difficult to access for somebody who is different from whoever it is happened to implement that particular feature. Cloudcraft says, honestly, I have trouble believing that some of the devs were actually disturbed or overwhelmed working on that. I feel like I've actually heard stories about that. Developers working on games where they had to model the viscera of a human being and do horrific things to a human body, and the fact that they had to study what that looks like, which means studying real examples and stuff like that entire experience from front to back of building something like that can actually be really disturbing and be something that somebody doesn't want to do more than once in their life. So all right. Well, I think that was what I needed to do. I was actually all I needed to do really was cut off all those zombie legs, and we succeeded at that. We took it a little bit further, decided to take out that plague heart while I was there, but I think we're good. So the Salt of the Earth is an interesting series because I just dip in now and then when I just need to do something with them. I don't play them consistently, so I imagine if anybody is watching this like on the playlist, like watching front to back, like these Salt of the Earth episodes all in a row, I don't know what those time jumps are like. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of continuity going on with any of my playthroughs of these games, but I mean, certainly I don't have any consistent goals that are carrying on from episode to episode. I imagine my haircut probably changes quite a bit from episode to episode. So if you're watching this later on YouTube and you have been watching these just in order, I'm curious what your experience is like. If you want to leave a comment and tell me, is it weird to watch the Salt of the Earth that way? Because I play them so haphazardly, or is it just fine and normal? I don't know. Steve-O says you get older and older in each video. Well, I mean, that is true of all the videos, but I can see what you mean. I definitely feel like I'm getting older at an accelerated rate these days. Airy Twitch wants to know, what is the schedule for the commune? Like, how many episodes are left? I don't know. So lately, I've just been, between, having gotten COVID and then just being really stressed and overwhelmed, I've been avoiding doing anything difficult with the commune. And so we're right at the point where I can start pursuing the legacy missions at any time. And once I do, I'm probably just a few episodes from the end, assuming that I succeed. If I fail, who knows? But assuming I succeed at those missions, then then I'm probably not that far off from the end. Just the question is, when am I going to feel up to starting that process? And I'm genuinely not sure. I can't make any promises. Maybe it'll be as soon as next week. I am making some changes. I'm planning on sort of reformatting my work schedule a little bit. My responsibilities on the team are shifting just slightly, not in a way that's important to you, but I think that I might be able to reschedule things a little bit to give myself a little bit more time to do personal work, less time in meetings. Meetings are the more stressful part of my job because I kind of have to be socially on, and being socially on for me, like, takes a lot out of me. And actually, it takes the same energy that streaming takes. And so it's more difficult for me to stream when I have a lot of meetings. So I'm thinking I might be able to get myself into a zone where I'm attending less meetings. And if I do that, maybe I'll feel better, and maybe I'll get into a zone where I can actually try to wrap up some of these series. But, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see if I'm successful at that. Awesome Twitch dude, I already reacted to the Last of Us trailer, so you'll have to watch this video back when it comes out on YouTube later on to see. Or just, rewind it on Twitch and see what happens there. All right. So Airy Twitch says that they're playing a Nightmare Group. So it's kind of fun to watch me playing on the same map that Airy Twitch is playing on. So, like, sort of comparing our experiences. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of somebody doing that. All right, okay, let's wrap this up. So if you are one of those people I was talking to earlier who's watching later on YouTube, there's a subscribe button for you and some links to other videos, including the next Salt of the Earth, presuming that exists, which it might not when you're watching this. Because I play this group so haphazardly.